When I think about real estate, the first thing that pops to mind is like just the other week we were with a couple of colleagues having a little poker game, and one of them had a house with like some tenants talking about how they can pay their rent on time because apparently they got scammed by somebody and then they didn't have the money. And then another guy chimed in. It's like, yeah, I bought this bar. And, after we closed the deal, the tenant disappeared. And I was like, what do you mean the tenant disappeared? It's like, well, he was like the friend of the guy who owned the building, and he was like paying him to pretend like he is an active tenant. This is a very positive cash flow business. So I bought it, and then the guy just disappeared. Right. So I'm hearing all these horror stories, and I'm thinking it's like, I don't want to deal with any of that. Like I have so much on my plate. It's like, I want to buy a house and then some guy steals my copper pipes. Right. So help me understand, because as I've read your stuff, I started to realize like the type of real estate you're talking about isn't finding some rundown house and then spending your weekends fixing the plumbing, right? Like you're doing very different stuff. So how does it work exactly? Like help me understand, like if you're trying to invest into real estate, you don't have to necessarily be active in painting the property, right? So how does it work exactly?
Yeah, I started this back in, I think, 2014. And the only way that I knew about real estate was about like what you just talked about. You go buy a single family home, you go buy a duplex, you stick some people in there. When they knock a hole in the wall, you repair it, you kick them out, and move on. So I was willing to do it because I wanted to do what was right for my family. And I'd heard about this dentist, Freedom Founders guy, David Phelps. And he was teaching dentists about real estate. He was in Dallas. I'm 4 hours away. I said, hey, I'm going to sign up for his meeting and I'm going to go. And I went, and it really opened my eyes, because we didn't talk anything for 2 days about, quote, active real estate investing, which is what I only thought there was. It was all about passive real estate investing. And there was like 6 to 8 different ways that dentists, and there was like 80 or 90 dentists there, dentists and people could continue to work, because I think that's the most important thing now. That's our biggest wealth generating tool, is our income. When you start taking your time away from that and doing other things, then your income goes down, because the more money you make, the more you can invest. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to revamp my website, and I got you guys to do it, because I've seen how many people you've helped, because the more money that the website and the practice can generate, the more I can turn around, invest, and then replace my income with passive income. So that opened my eyes to, hey, I don't have to deal with tenants. I don't have to deal with busted water heaters. I can figure out different ways. But the thing that I didn't like was, it was a lot of money, and I think it's even more money now to join. Like it's like $100,000 a year, I think, to have access to the different deals he has. But it also
just to get pitched the deals.
What's that?
Like just to get pitched the deals, like just to have access to the. Wow, that's really, that sounds crazy.
Yeah. So he has this network of people, and if you want access to it, you got to pay to play. But what it showed me was, well, if all these people are here paying all this money and they keep coming back, then obviously they're making money. So there's got to be something to this. And that's what got me going and start looking at the one that I like, was the real estate syndications, which is nothing more than a group. So there's 2 different groups. There's the general partner group. That's the people that put the deal together. So let's use an apartment building as an example.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to just go out and buy an apartment building, or you or somebody else, it'd probably be too much money to take on our own, right?
Yeah.
So let's say it's like a 200 unit, $15 million apartment building. Well, these groups, these general partners, they go out, they find the deals, they get the financing, they manage it, they run it, they do everything. And the only thing that the limited partners or the passive investors do, like you and me and whoever else, the only thing that we do is provide capital for the deal. Most of these deals are $50,000 to $75,000 minimum, which if you were to go buy just a single family home, it may be 200 grand or something now. I mean, you'd have to put down probably about that much as well. But you put this money in, and your only job is to cash the quarterly check or make sure it hits your bank account if it's direct deposit. And that's it. And what happens over time is the more that you do, and and you get tax benefits, most of this money is tax free. Because of, the depreciation that you can get from the building. That's a passive loss. Passive loss can offset passive income. So think about it. If you got $1 million in a mutual fund and you want to pull out 7% a year, that's 70,000 a year. Well, you're going to be taxed. You're going to have to pay a capital gains tax on that, right?
Yeah.
Plus, more than likely, as of right now, your $1 million mutual fund's probably way down. So it continues to go down.
Yeah.
Plus, you're drawing down. If you have $1 million in passive real estate syndications, it's paying you, let's just say 7%, 70,000 a year, tax free. You don't pay capital gains. Plus, that $1 million, guess what? It's going up in value. It's appreciating. So the bottom line is, you don't ever have to worry about you running out of money, which there's so many dentists right now in my area, and I'm probably in your area, that are still working in their 70s and 80s because they don't have enough money. They think they're going to run out of money, or they don't know what else to do. So that's what really sparked me to start educating other dentists and physicians about this, because I think it's real important. And I just share my journey, on my website, debtfreedoctor.com, about what I think people should know that are thinking about getting into this.